Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again inside Fino Field as we bring you continuing coverage of this 2016-2017 Scarlet Hawks athletic season. This is Tim Coet on the call, as today we have more baseball activity for you as the Scarlet Hawks are about set to take on one of their prime rivals in the Davenport division in the Stoughton Black Knights. Tim Coet here on the call, and Milford in a similar position to where they were when we were last covering this team last week. It's continued to be win one, lose one for the Scarlet Hawks. They've been having a lot of success away from Fino Field in recent weeks, not so much when they've been playing here on their home turf. They have not won in each of their previous 3 home contests. That dates back to April 24th, so 0 for their last 3 here at Fino, but they're a perfect 3 out of their last 3 on the road. Victories at Sharon, at Attleboro, and most recently a 3-1 victory at Taunton in the team's last game. That came back on May 4th. So Milford hopes to change their fortunes here at home, as their success on the road has continued to keep them in a good spot overall in the Davenport division standings as they enter into today's action with an overall record of 7-5. They are 6-5 within Hockomock League play. And that is good enough for second place in the Davenport standings. And the team that they face here this afternoon is the only team above them in those Davenport standings. The Black Knights right now in first place in the Davenport. 9 wins overall on the season, a 9-3 record. They are 8-3 against Hockomock League competition. And one of those victories for Stoughton came at the hands of the Milford Scarlet Hawks. It was a very difficult loss for Milford back on their second game of the regular season. A 15-0 mercy rule loss for Milford back on April 10th. And again, just a very tough day all the way around, as Stoughton was able to get the bats active early and often, as this has been a very strong and very veteran-heavy Black Knights offense coming into this season, predominantly a senior starting lineup. But Stoughton was able to collect 16 total hits while scoring those 15 runs in that win back on April 10th, and they got a quality performance all the way around from their senior Justin Hutchinson, who went 3 for 4 at the plate with a double and scored 2 runs. He also got the win on the mound, tossing 4 shutout innings. So it was a quality day for Stoughton, a tough day for Milford, as that ended up being part of back-to-back losses to open up the season, but it's been better since then for the Scarlet Hawks. And really, these two teams have been in a pattern of defending their home fields in recent seasons. As we take a look at some of the previous matchups for the teams, the home team has prevailed in each of the last 4 matchups dating back to the previous 2 seasons. Stoughton with a victory at home 4-3 against Milford back on April 29th of last year. Milford was able to squeak out a 2-1 victory here at Fino on May 24th. And then back during the 2015 season, Milford with a 6-5 win at home, and Stoughton with a 7-4 win on their home turf. So Milford hopes that that is a pattern that holds true as these two teams get set to get this game started a few moments from now. We are really getting to a critical point in the season. The games quickly dwindling down on the regular season schedule. There are just a total of 8 games remaining on Milford's regular season schedule, with this one here this afternoon included. Games against Canton, Hopedale, Foxborough, North Attleboro, a non-conference game against Catholic Memorial, and then matchups against Sharon and King Philip will round out the schedule for the Scarlet Hawks here in 2017, and then it is on to MIAA tournament competition. That is a place that Milford certainly hopes to return this season. They're above 500 right now. They look to be in position to earn a spot in the playoffs, but a lot of tough road ahead of them. And no team tougher right now on their schedule than the first place team in the Davenport standings in the Stoughton Black Knights, who come to Fino Field here this afternoon. So without further ado, let's get to the starting lineups for today's game. We will begin with the visiting Stoughton Black Knights. Leading it off is their shortstop, Ruben Gonzalez. The center fielder, Pat Haggerty, bats second, with Ryan Sullivan playing right field and batting third. Jack Connolly is the first baseman, batting cleanup, with the catcher Evan Gibb batting fifth. Luke Johnson is the third baseman, batting sixth, with Justin Hutchinson, the starting pitcher, batting seventh. Nick Hardy plays left field and bats eighth, with Matt Gallagher, the second baseman, in the 9 spot. And for the Milford Scarlet Hawks, a very similar-looking lineup once again. It is Ryan Gonzalez atop that lineup, playing center field, with Anthony Arcudi batting second and playing second. Aiden Wild once again catches and bats third, with Zach Tamani, the shortstop, in the 4 spot. Alex Cody is in the field playing third base and batting fifth, with Alex Masick across the diamond at first base batting sixth. Tyler Renault is in as the designated hitter batting seventh, with Kevin Cambrola, the left fielder, batting eighth. And in the ninth spot playing right field is Tony Mobilia. So as we mentioned, it is Justin Hutchinson on the mound for the visitors. For the home team, it is Nate Irwin getting another start here at Fino Field. It was a tough start for Nate his last time out here on the home field, as we were able to cover Milford's game against the Mansfield Hornets midweek last week, and it was a short outing for Nate. A tough outing for him on the mound, combined with a lot of sloppy play on the defensive side for Milford, and that is something that I am sure that Coach Pellegrini and Coach Dion have addressed with the team in the days since that loss. Of course, Milford bouncing back after that loss with a good 3-1 victory against Taunton. So Milford hopes to play cleaner baseball here on the home field this afternoon, and they hope to get some good quality starting pitching out of Nate Irwin as well. So a good matchup for you this afternoon, a good Davenport Division rivalry as the Milford Scarlet Hawks get set to take on the Stoughton Black Knights. We will have the first pitch in this game when we come back next, so stay tuned to coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics right here on Milford TV. Welcome right back inside Fino Field. It is nearing time for the start of this afternoon matchup between Milford and Stoughton. This game getting underway a little bit later than usual. Right now we're at 5 after 4 in the afternoon on this Monday, the 8th of May. But Milford out there on the field as Nate Irwin now goes through his warm-up tosses before we get the game started. This is Nate's 5th appearance of 2017. It will be his 4th start of the year. He comes in with a record of 2-1. He's thrown a total of 16 innings so far on the season. He's allowed 20 hits, 5 walks to 8 strikeouts. He's allowed a total of 17 runs on the season, just 7 of them earned. So a manageable 3.06 ERA. It was, again, as we mentioned, a tough start for Nate his last time around here at home against the Mansfield Hornets, but that tough start was compounded by a lot of miscues in the field. By our scoring up here in the press box, we had 6 errors for Milford as part of that 12-4 loss to the Mansfield Hornets. That came just about a week ago today. And so, again, Nate looking for better support behind him in the field. And that defensive alignment for the Scarlet Hawks, it is Aiden Wild behind the plate with Alex Cody at third, Zach Tamani at short, Anthony Arcudi at second, and Alex Masick at first. Left to right in the outfield, Kevin Cambrola, Ryan Gonsalves, and Tony Mobilia. And as Coach Pellegrini has continued to try different configurations with his team as the season has gone on, it's really felt like the two positions on this team that have been a little bit in flux have been catcher and third base. And it seems as though the tandem that Milford has there right now might be the one that will stick for the majority of the remainder of the season, with Alex Cody at third base and Aiden Wild behind the plate. We haven't seen a whole lot of Alex Cody in the field defensively so far this season. A lot of times when we've seen him in the lineup, it's been as the designated hitter. When he has been in the field, he's played at third base. We saw him a lot in the outfield last season, and looks to be a sure-handed fielder out there. So hoping to provide some stability over at the hot corner. And Aiden Wild, of course, as we chronicled the last time out with our last coverage of Scarlet Hawks baseball, getting his first start at catcher of his varsity high school career, though it is, by his account, his natural position. So he's settling back into a position he's played quite a bit at the younger levels. So those two players getting the start at those respective positions, and meanwhile we are set for baseball as the leadoff batter for the Stoughton Black Knights steps in on the right side, Ruben Gonzalez, one of the hotter hitters in this Stoughton lineup. Nate Irwin ready to go, and his first pitch is low for ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch now on the way, and it's high. Getting ahead of batters was a little bit of a problem for Nate Irwin his last time out. Ready now with a 2-0 pitch. And there's the first strike of the ball game. Irwin staring in for the sign, now winds and fires and deals in a nice pitch in for a called strike 2. That evens the count. Now the 2-2 pitch, and this is lined out to shallow left center field. It's down for a base hit. A wide turn for Gonzalez at first, but he retreats to the bag. And getting this top of the first inning started with a solid single. Gonzalez coming into his own in recent weeks in this Stoughton lineup. Gonzalez, a junior. Again, it's predominantly seniors on the roster, 3 juniors and also a handful of sophomores. Pat Haggerty, the center fielder, now at the plate with nobody out and the runner at first. Nate Irwin now operating out of the stretch. And this ball hit hard through the right side of the infield for a hit. Gonzalez moves up to second base and holds there as the throw quickly goes into third. Back-to-back singles now for the Knights, as they immediately go to work against Irwin. And now we will see Ryan Sullivan. And he takes the first pitch for a called strike 1. Sullivan, one of 3 captains on this Black Knights team. He grounds one deep in the hole at short. Tamani's throw to second base gets the out there. And Arcudi ends up holding on to the baseball, so they get just the 1 out on the play. Haggerty out on the forced play at second. Sullivan safe at first on the fielder's choice. Arcudi had the runner bearing down on him, so probably the smart play to keep that ball in his hand to avoid throwing wildly to first base. Milford able to get the first out of the inning, but now Stoughton has runners at the corners with only 1 down, and Jack Connolly, the cleanup hitter, now in on the left side. The runner immediately takes off for second, and Wild, more concerned about the runner at third, keeps the ball in the glove. So Sullivan gets a steal to take the conventional double play off the table. And now a pitch down low. Connolly batting .385 on the season. He grounds one to second base. The runner coming to the plate. Arcudi will throw to first base to get the out there. So Connolly will get an RBI on the 4-3 ground out, as Ruben Gonzalez comes in to score to give Stoughton the first lead at 1-0. On the play, Sullivan moves up to third base. He's now the lone base runner. And now Evan Gibb, the catcher, takes a called strike 1 to start his at bat. Irwin hoping for just the single run on the scoreboard in the inning, but he has to deal with Evan Gibb. And Gibb flies this ball out to left field. Slowly back after it. At first was Cambrola. Now he can't catch up to it. It's going to roll out towards the fence. 1 run in, as it will go as a double for Evan Gibb. Cambrola started drifting after that ball as if he was going to make the catch easily, then all of a sudden started going back with a frantic pace and then could not make the catch. And a gift double for Stoughton. And a run in the process. Now a 2-0 Black Knights lead. So the second straight start for Nate Irwin, giving up a couple of first inning runs. Still a runner in scoring position now for Stoughton with 2 down. Luke Johnson at the plate. The 6th Stoughton batter to come to the plate in the inning. He lines one down the left field side. That's a fair ball rolling towards the corner. No problem for Gibb to come around and score. As Johnson hustles into second base, it's back-to-back doubles for the Black Knights as they now take a 3-0 lead. And so, as we talked about in the open, Stoughton jumped on Milford to the tune of 15 runs on 16 hits when these two teams met earlier this season. And the Black Knights offense picking up right back where they left off here in this first inning now, putting up a 3 spot so far, and again, another runner at second base. Justin Hutchinson, the starting pitcher, now at the dish. A chance to increase his lead before he takes to the mound, sends a ground ball up the middle, and Milford just able to get the out at first. The ball eluded Irwin off the mound, and Tamani bobbled it briefly, but he still got the throw there in time for the 6-3 ground out to end the inning. But Stoughton puts 3 quick runs on the scoreboard as they send 7 batters to the plate in the top of the first inning, and Milford in an early hole now. It is a 3-0 score as we bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV. Bottom of the first inning at Fino, and already a 3-0 deficit staring at the Scarlet Hawks as they bring their top 3 hitters to the plate here in the home half of the inning against the starting pitcher for Stoughton, Justin Hutchinson. Hutchinson has been cleaning up in decisions so far this season, 7-0 on the year. He's thrown 31 1/3 innings. He's allowed 11 walks to 40 strikeouts and a nifty .89 ERA. He was the pitcher of record when Stoughton defeated Milford earlier this season. He has been one of the dominant arms in the Hockomock League so far this year. Taking a look at some of the stats from around the league prior to the game today, only 3 pitchers by the stats that we had access to with lower ERAs than Hutchinson. Peter Cohen of North Attleboro, through just 13 2/3 innings, has not allowed a run so far on the season, an earned run. Jason Ulrichsen of Franklin with a .88 ERA, and Brian Wolfel, who Milford defeated earlier this season for Franklin, also with a .89 ERA. So one of the toughest pitchers in the Hawk to this point on the season. Not what Milford is looking to face, especially with a quick 3-0 deficit on the scoreboard, but Ryan Gonsalves getting it started up there on the right side. And you can see some good hard velocity with those first 2 pitches out of the hand of Hutchinson. The righty back into his windup, and this pitch is flared out to right field. That's down for a hit. And Gonsalves opens up this bottom of the first inning with an opposite field single. Good piece of hitting out of Gonsalves, just taking the pitch and dropping it out into shallow right field. Gonsalves with a .326 batting average coming into this afternoon. That'll tick up a bit as Gonsalves claims his 15th hit of 2017. And now a little bit of a break in the action here as Milford gets things situated with their first base coach situation. It's Luke Allegrezza trotting out there right now, with Gonsalves now breaking out to a lead at first base. Anthony Arcudi digging in at the plate. Arcudi with a .310 batting average. And he takes the pitch on the inside corner for strike 1. Arcudi 13 hits and 42 at-bats on the season. He's scored 11 runs. He's driven in 6. Pops this pitch in the air on the right side. It's into foul territory for Jack Connolly. He makes the catch. And Arcudi's retired on the foul pop-up. Defensively for the Black Knights, it is Evan Gibb behind the plate, Luke Johnson at third, Ruben Gonzalez at short, Matt Gallagher at second, and Jack Connolly, who just made that catch at first. Left to right in the outfield, Nick Hardy, Pat Haggerty, and Ryan Sullivan. Behind the starting pitcher, Justin Hutchinson, now with 1 out in the bottom of the first, dealing with Aiden Wild. It has seemed as though Aiden Wild has been garnering a lot of attention from college scouts in recent weeks. The junior putting up another strong season. He's batting an even .500 coming into this afternoon. Jumps ahead in the count against Hutchinson, 2 balls and no strikes. Wild pinwheeling the bat, now levels it over the shoulder. Runner at first base and 1 out. Here's the pitch, and that's in for a called strike. One other interesting note from pregame here this afternoon, we saw Blake Hill out on the field participating in infield and outfield drills in full uniform. It's the first time we've seen Hill in uniform this season, as that strike evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We have heard some whispers that Hill has been medically cleared to return to action, so we'll now see what transpires over the rest of this regular season if Coach Pellegrini puts Blake Hill back in this lineup. What a huge boost that would be to the Scarlet Hawks if they could get that 1-2 punch of Wild and Hill going once again. Hill not in the lineup to start the game today. The runner takes off. The 2-2 pitch into Wild is fouled away. It is another chilly afternoon here at Fino Field. It seems like that has been the case more often than not this spring. Despite the fact that we're into the first week in May, temperatures hovering around 50 degrees at game time. Also a strong breeze making it feel much cooler than that, as now a very late timeout is granted by the home plate umpire. Hutchinson had just about started the windup. And that draws some conversation out of the Stoughton dugout, out of varsity head coach Mike Armour. The runner takes off again as this pitch is grounded deep into the hole at shortstop. To the backhand is Gonzalez's throw to first base. It pulls the first baseman off the bag. The throw gets by him as it goes into foul territory. Connolly able to pick it up on the warning track. And Milford will now have runners at second and third with 1 out. It was a tough play for Gonzalez. Again, he had to play it on the backhand. Had a long way to go to his right to track it down. So it should go as a single for Wild and an error on the throw. And now Zach Tamani quickly, first pitch swinging, sends that ball out into left. Arcudi comes in to score. A bobble out into right will allow Wild to come in right behind. And 2 runs cross the plate on the single for Zach Tamani. And just like that, Milford is back within a run. It's a 3-2 score. Milford not waiting around against Hutchinson. You're seeing a lot of aggressive swinging early in counts. Already now with 3 hits. And again, you think that with the bobble out in right field by Ryan Sullivan, they'll charge an error that allowed the second run to score. So that's already 2 errors in the inning for the Black Knights, as now they check on Tamani at first base a couple of times. Gonzalez and Aiden Wild both crossing the plate to chip into the early Stoughton lead. Alex Cody now finally seeing the first pitch of his at bat. It's up and away for a ball, and you can see maybe a little bit of frustration out of Hutchinson as Milford has been able to make some solid contact against him. Now Cody ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Stoughton with 3 runs on 4 hits in the top of the first. Milford with 2 runs on 3 hits so far here in the bottom half. And Cody takes that pitch at the knees for a strike. Tamani, the lone base runner, he leads off of first. As the pitch again misses. Alex Cody with the 2nd highest batting average on the team at .429. He's also earned 10 walks on the season which is actually one behind Aiden Wild. The runner takes off here as the throw goes down to second. It gets kicked by the second baseman, and that will allow Tamani to cruise on to third base. He gets there ahead of the throw. That ball may have actually ricocheted off of Tamani, as now it looks like he might be favoring his wrist. It initially looked like that might have connected with the second baseman as he came in behind the play. But just a quick check over at third base. Tamani seems to be okay. A stolen base, and quickly the third Stoughton error, piling up the miscues here in the first inning. Now a throwing error on the catcher. As now Alex Cody takes ball 4. Plenty of activity here in the first inning. Milford now with the tying run at third base, the go-ahead run at first, and this brings Coach Armour out of the dugout. Now in the midst of a full conference with the infield. Alex Masick, the next batter due up for the Hawks. Head coach Paul Pellegrini with a couple of words for Masick as he paces outside of the third base dugout. A lengthy first inning, and it seems like we might be seeing more offense certainly than we expected to see here in the first inning. We've seen some lower scoring games between these two teams here at Fino. The higher scoring games have typically been over at Stoughton. It was just a 2-1 game between these two teams when they faced off here in Milford last season. And Milford was able to earn a 6-2 win here at Fino back in 2015. That was a game that I do believe Alex Croto had double-digit strikeouts in. It was a dominant performance. Finally back to action as Alex Masick takes a called strike 1. Masick brings a .241 batting average into this afternoon's game. A big swing there. Foul tips it into the mitt of Gibb. And Alex is down in the count, 0-2. Masick with 7 hits and 29 at-bats. He scored 2 runs. He has a pair of doubles, a pair of runs batted in. And now a pickoff check at first base. Sends Cody diving back into the bag. Milford with runners at first and third. It's Tamani, the lead runner, at third base with Cody at first. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Masick, and this is flared out to shallow center field. A long run for Haggerty. It drops in front of him. Tamani now comes to the plate. He will score without a throw, and it's an RBI single for Alex Masick that ties this game at 3. On an 0-2 pitch, Masick able to dump it into shallow center field. And 4 hits now in this first inning for the Scarlet Hawks. Still just 1 out. And now the number 7 hitter, Tyler Renaud, digs in. Runners at first and second base. And the first pitch taken high for a ball. And Renaud now pops this ball up in foul ground. A long run for Connolly all the way to the fence, but that is off into the stands. One ball and 1 strike, as the home plate umpire now wants to take a quick look at the baseball as that ricocheted off beyond the field of play and then came back in. Renaud ready to see another pitch. Here's the 1-1, and that drops in for a strike. Looked like that was not what Renaud was expecting to see. And it's now a 1-ball, 2-strike count. And that on the inside part of the plate for a called strike 3. That bent right back to that inside corner. And Renault heads back to the dugout. That's the first strikeout for Hutchinson. And now 2 outs in the inning. Kevin Cambrola trying to keep the line moving. And takes the first pitch low and away for a ball. So both starting pitchers struggling to get ahead of hitters. Hutchinson able to battle back to get the K of Renault. Now a 1-ball, no strike count on Cambrola. And you can make it 2 balls and no strikes. The set by Hutchinson. Here's his pitch. And a 3-ball, no strike count. Should Cambrola reach, Milford would send their 9th batter to the plate. And there is ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to Cambrola. That's the 2nd walk in the inning for Hutchinson. Two walks to go along with 4 hits and 3 runs allowed. And so the bases are loaded for Mobilia, who swings at the first pitch, drives it out to right field, and that's over the head of Sullivan. It rolls off towards the right center field gap. 2 runs in for Milford. Now here comes Cambrola all the way around from first base. It is a bases clearing double for Tony Mobilia, and that puts Milford on top by a score of 6-3. All 3 runners off on contact, as Mobilia was able to get on top of that first pitch and drive it over the head of the right fielder. And no problem for all 3 runners to cross the plate. And a shocking inning, as again, Hutchinson came into this game with a sub-1 ERA, but he has allowed 6 runs here to Milford in the first. And a second at bat in the inning for Ryan Gonsalves as Milford is batted around. Pops this ball up, foul. Giving it a look is Gibb, the catcher, but that one completely out of play. The lone runner now, Mobilia at second base after he drove in 3. And now that pitch too far inside. Mobilia creeping out to a lead at second base. Here's the pitch to Gonsalves. It's a foul tip into the mitt. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Gibb, the catcher, looking like he thought that was strike 3. Here is the 1-2 pitch. This is a line drive back up the middle, down for a hit. They'll wave Mobilia around from third base. The throw dribbles past the cutoff man as Mobilia comes in to score. The 2nd hit of the inning for Ryan Gonsalves. And it drives in the 7th run of the inning for the Scarlet Hawks, a 7-3 lead now. And no one happier right now than Nate Irwin. After allowing those 3 runs in the top half of the inning, he's watched his offense put on a show here. And now Coach Armour back out of the dugout for Stoughton. And it looks like he will be calling in Ryan Sullivan out from right field as he'll make the pitching change here. What a surprise. Stoughton putting their ace out on the mound. He's been their workhorse on the season, but he does not make it out of the first inning, just 2/3 of an inning pitched, allowing 7 runs to the Scarlet Hawks, who just keep on moving here in the first inning. They've scored 7 times. They have Gonsalves at first base. They'll have Arcudi at the plate. We will step aside very briefly to catch our breath here. Again, a 7-3 lead still in the first inning. And more to come next on Milford TV. So the new pitcher on is indeed Ryan Sullivan for Stoughton. He comes in from right field to take over for Hutchinson. The corresponding change is Hutchinson stays in the game. He moves out into left field. It looks like Nick Hardy has moved from left field across to right. So all of the same pieces out there on the field for Stoughton, just shifted into some different positions, as now Arcudi swings at the first pitch for Sullivan, and he delivers it out into right center field for a hit. Gonsalves goes from first to third. A hard ground ball base hit for Arcudi. And the Milford bench pumped up as they will now see their 12th batter come to the plate. Aiden Wild singled his first time up. Advanced to second base as Ruben Gonzalez, the shortstop, sent a wild throw to first on the hit. And he swings at the first pitch and gets a piece of it to tap it foul. So Milford already now with 7 hits in the first inning. And 7 runs scored. They have Gonsalves now at third with Arcudi at first. The next pitch from Sullivan, and that's on the outside edge for a called strike 3, a bit of a borderline pitch. Wild fires the bat away in frustration, and the home plate umpire not looking pleased as Coach Pellegrini immediately calms down his star hitter. So that will finally bring an end to the first inning, but not before Milford sends 12 batters to the plate. They score 7 times, and they turn a 3-0 deficit into a 7-3 lead, and all of that in just the first inning of play. We will head to the second when we come back next here on Milford TV. The first inning of this baseball game taking about 40 minutes as Stoughton scored 3 runs on 4 hits in their half of the inning, and then Milford responded with what was probably their best offensive inning of the season, scoring 7 runs on 7 hits while sending 12 batters to the plate. And now first pitch swinging, we see a single down the left field line for the number 7 hitter, Nick Hardy. And you definitely have a feeling this could be the ultimate slugfest as we go on here this afternoon. You've got 2 good offenses out there. The pitching has struggled to settle into a groove, as now this ball is in the dirt, does not get far enough away from Wild for the runner to advance. Hardy at first base, now Matt Gallagher, the number 9 hitter, at the plate. And the pitch from Irwin is a called strike. Already now 5 hits for Stoughton, collecting that quick single, and now a pickoff attempt. The ball gets past Masick, and it will scoot completely off the field. It will allow just 1 base for Hardy. So there's your first Milford error. We've seen a combined 4 errors now, and we're only 1 batter, or should I say 2 batters, into the second inning. The single error for the Scarlet Hawks here in the inning, combined with the 3 errors we saw out of Stoughton last inning. And now that ball floats up and in on Gallagher. And now this one too far inside again, glances off the glove of Wild, and that allows Hardy to take third. So Hardy getting an easy trip around the bases, an error allowing him to advance to second, and now a wild pitch sends him to third. It was a very long wait for Nate Irwin in between innings, as now he gets that ball just about past the bat of Gallagher. A foul tip into the mitt. Evens the count at 2. Gallagher up now, the top of the Stoughton order, waiting on deck. Here's the pitch. So a 3-2 count, I beg your pardon, and that one going as ball 4. It's the first walk for Irwin, as he's allowed the first 2 batters to reach in the top of the second. Back up to the top spot, and Ruben Gonzalez, who swings at the first pitch and misses. Gonzalez collected a single in the first inning. And now this ball hit hard down the left field line, but foul. A long stare into Aiden Wild for the pitcher, Irwin. Now ready with the pitch, and that is waved at and missed for strike 3. Gonzalez badly fooled. And that's exactly what Irwin needed in that situation, his first strikeout. It's just the first out of the inning. The runners remain at first and third. Now for Pat Haggerty, who also singled his first time. And Haggerty takes that pitch a little bit inside. The lefty batter against the right-handed tossing Irwin. Hard ground ball, foul, just wide of first. That will send one of the Stoughton bench players off into foul territory to collect the baseball. An even count of 1 ball and 1 strike on the number 2 hitter, who now takes a pitch in the dirt. A cool breeze continues to blow from right to left field, now maybe a little bit out towards left center field. Now ball hit to second base. Arcudi will get the sure out at first base as he had to drift far to his left. In from third base to score comes Hardy. So an RBI on the 4-3 ground out, as Stoughton now makes it a 7-4 score. 2 outs in the inning. The lone runner now Gallagher at second. And now Ryan Sullivan takes a pitch just inside for a ball. Sullivan took his first at bat as the starting right fielder, but now finds himself on the mound, no doubt much earlier in the game than he would have necessarily thought, but here he grounds the ball through the left side for a hit. They'll try to score the runner around from second base. The throw in is not a good one from Cambrola. As Gallagher comes around to score from second base, Sullivan able to advance to second on the throw. You'll count it as an RBI single. And Stoughton climbing right back into it now. They've scored 2 so far here in the second to cut it to a 2-run lead for Milford at 7-5. And the line keeps moving now for the Knights with their cleanup hitter Jack Conley up. Conley takes a strike. He earned an RBI on a ground out his first time up. A good throw from left field might have gotten Gallagher, but the throw was up the line, and now this ball is driven deep out into left center field. It's going to be extra bases, and no problem for Sullivan to trot home to score. Connolly will stop at second base. That's already the 3rd double for Stoughton through 2 innings. And it drives in another run, and now The lead cut down to a single run for Milford. The score 7-6. And Evan Gibb now, the catcher, has to discard the shin pads. He was swinging with part of the catcher's gear on in the on-deck area, but now steps to the plate with the tying run in scoring position. So Nate Irwin saw a 3-run deficit turned into a 4-run lead, but he's now given almost that entire lead right back. A 7-6 margin. As 3 runs have scored here in the top of the second inning, with again that tying run at second base. Irwin keeping an eye on Connolly at second. A long hesitation. Now the pitch to the plate, and it's in the dirt. Irwin back to the set. Now the pitch, and that's on the outside part of the plate. From what we can see, there does not appear to be any activity warming up pitching-wise for Milford. As that ball is swung on and missed, held onto by Wild, and that will go as a strike 3 to end the inning. But again, Stoughton responding with 3 runs, and they turn this right back into a tight ball game. It is now Milford 7 and Stoughton 6, as we will head to the bottom of the second inning next on coverage of Scarlet Hawks baseball on Milford TV. Plenty of fans here at Fino Field taking in this afternoon game. It's a crisp atmosphere with some chilly temperatures, a stiff breeze across the field, and these fans hopefully dressed warmly as they have a lot of baseball yet to be played here this afternoon. We've only completed an inning and a half thus far. And a 7-6 score as Milford will send batters 4, 5, and 6 to the plate. Zach Tamani to lead it off against Ryan Sullivan, now on for his first full inning of relief. If you're coming into this game in progress, you've already missed quite a bit despite the early innings still taking place. Milford driving starting pitcher Justin Hutchinson from the game after just 2/3 of an inning. Coming in with one of the best ERAs in the league, but Milford collecting 7 runs in total against the starting pitcher in the first. Tamani driving in one of those runs with a single. The next pitch from Sullivan, and that's in for a strike. Tamani, Cody, and Masick, the 3 expected. As Tamani tried to hold up on the swing, he does, and that will go as ball 4. So that's the 3rd walk issued by Stoughton pitching through the first 2 innings. The first walk charged to Ryan Sullivan, who will now deal with Alex Cody. He walked and scored his first time up as this ball is bunted down the third base line, but it's foul. Cody a walk, and he came around to score one of the 7 Milford runs in the first inning. Nothing and 1 the count. Tamani with a lead at first, and the pitch up and away. And now a hard hit ball, but foul off into the trees. And that one may be ricocheting back into foul territory. It does, as Milford will send it back in. It looks like Milford now does have some activity throwing over on the sidelines. Can't quite tell the uniform number on the pitcher warming up, but we'll see if Nate Irwin will return for a third inning of work. In the meantime, the next pitch into Alex Cody is swung on and missed for strike 3. So there's the second strikeout for Sullivan since entering the game. And that brings up Alex Masick. Alex sent an 0-2 pitch out to center field that was good for an RBI single. Now here the snap throw from the catcher is high to first base. It drifts down the right field line, and Zach Tamani will end up at third base as Nick Hardy had a little bit of trouble getting to that ball in foul ground, and Tamani just kept on running, so he ends up taking 2 bases. And Stoughton now with their 4th error. Could make an argument that you might need to charge 2 errors on that play. The errant throw from Gibb, and then a little bit of a bobble in right field for Hardy. So Milford now with a runner at third base. And a 2-ball, no-strike count on Masick. And now a ball floated foul to the backstop. Masick ready to see another pitch, and that one too far inside. And Masick will head down to first base, setting up runners at the corners. Both of these offenses really grinding out these at-bats. Renault showing bunt. He offers and misses. Now Tamani getting caught off of third. The throw down there, but Tamani is safe, and a heads-up base running play for Masick as he's able to reach second. They had Tamani cheating down that third base line, but Evan Gibb lofting a bit of a lob toss to third base. That allowed Tamani to dive back into the bag, and meanwhile, Masick gets to second, so Renault was ready to give himself up with the bunt, but now with 2 runners in scoring position, he swings away and fouls that ball deep down the right field line. He's down in the count 0-2. Everything happening really at a rapid pace. Taking some effort to keep up with all of these stats on the scorecard as these two sides are really piling up the numbers through the early innings. Tamani, the lead runner at third, Masick at second. The next pitch into Renault is a called strike 3. It's the second time Renault has been called out on strikes. That's 2 Ks in the inning for Sullivan with the 2 walks mixed in. So it's been an up and down inning for the reliever. And Milford now looking for a hit with 2 outs out of their left fielder, Kevin Cambrola, who takes the first pitch for ball 1. Kevin walked his first time up, setting the stage for the bases loaded chance for Tony Mobilia. Here's the 1-0, and that's high for ball 2. And now a big swing and a miss. Cambrola expecting something in the strike zone on the 2-0 count. That ball to the outside part of the plate. Cambrola couldn't catch up to it. Now the 2-1, and this is sent out to center field. Back a step at first was Haggerty. Now sizes it up, makes the catch, and that will end the inning. So Milford threatens, but they do not score in the second inning. They will carry a 7-6 lead into the top half of the third. We will get to that next on our coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV. 7 runs on 7 hits with 1 error for Milford. 6 runs on 7 hits and 4 errors for the Black Knights. Nate Irwin returns to the mound for his 3rd inning of work and deals in a called strike 1 to the 3rd baseman, Luke Johnson. Nothing Nate would enjoy more than a quick inning. He's labored through the first 2, allowing a total of 6 runs on 7 hits. But pitching with a 1-run lead. As now this ball is off the handle of the bat, foul. The pitch was up and in. Johnson backing up off the plate, but made contact with the handle of the bat. And that brings the count to 1-2. Irwin ready with another pitch, working quickly, but deals it high and inside. That breeze still blowing out towards left center field, as now time is granted to the batter at the plate. We're now an hour into this game as Irwin faces the first batter of the top of the 3rd and gets a swing and a miss. He's fooled a couple of pitchers with that, possibly a slider breaking to the outside part of the plate against righties. Collected 2 strikeouts in the 2nd inning, now getting a strikeout to the first batter he faces here in the 3rd. It's just the first time he's retired the leadoff man, and now here is Justin Hutchinson. Hutchinson batting 0 for 1, aggressively swinging at that first pitch, now taking one on the outside part of the plate, and he's down 0-2. And Irwin very quickly dealing in another pitch. This one popped in the air out to center field. Sidestepping over into the gap was Gonzalez to make the catch. And Hutchinson now 0 for 2. And it's 2 up and 2 down in the 3rd. And a quick conversation now as Aiden Wild comes out from behind the plate before settling in to this at bat against Nick Hardy. Hardy singled to lead off last inning. He takes a called strike 1. Hardy reaching on the single, then an errant throw on a pickoff attempt by Irwin got him to second base, and then a wild pitch got him to 3rd. He eventually scored. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count with the bases empty and 2 outs. And now in on the hands, this ball is popped up behind 3rd base. The catch is made for Alex Cody. And what do you know, a 1-2-3 inning after a couple of long ones. Nate Irwin is able to produce a nice quick 1-2-3 top half of the 3rd inning. That will send us right on to the home half of the frame. The score frozen in place for now. It's 7-6 Milford in front of Stoughton here on Milford TV. The man with the biggest hit in this game so far, Tony Mobilio, will lead off the bottom of the 3rd. Tony first pitch swinging, roped a double into the right center field gap that cleared the bases. 3 RBIs for Mobilia. Had to feel good for Tony, who has struggled with the bat so far on the season. He came into this afternoon batting 160. 4 hits in his first 25 at bats. That double was his 2nd extra base hit of the season, and he doubled his RBI production on the season. He had 3 coming into the game, now has 6 after that 3-run double, and now takes a called strike out of Ryan Sullivan, continuing to work on the mound after coming in partway through the 1st. Now Mobilia showing bunt, and he pops it back to the backstop. No balls and 2 strikes to the Milford right fielder. And now a waving swing and a miss, and this time Mobilia goes down on 3 pitches. And Sullivan now with 4 Ks since coming into the ball game. He's done a good job settling things down in relief. He's allowed just 1 hit. He's walked 2, but struck out 4. Now dealing with the leadoff hitter, Ryan Gonsalves, who looks at a first pitch strike. Gonsalves 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, a run scored, and an RBI. And down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. If you want to get a sense for just how cold it is down at field level, you need to look further than the first and third base coaches. Luke Allegrezza, who's out there at first base for Milford with the sweatshirt on, the arms crossed. Coach Dion across the way with the gloves on. An extra layer underneath the warm-up. It is a chilly one out there. But Ryan Gonsalves hot with the bat as he will drive his 3rd hit of the game out to left center field. A perfect 3 for 3 at the plate. And Gonsalves at first base now ahead of Anthony Arcudi. He has a hit today. Six of Milford's starting 9 have collected at least 1 hit so far in the ball game. Arcudi now drives 1 foul just past the grasp of head coach Paul Pellegrini. This game taking place in the first week of May, but feeling more like the first week in April with these temperatures. Arcudi now sends a hard grounder to third. A nice play there by Luke Johnson. He gets the out at second base. The throw to first is a bad one. It gets away from the glove of Connolly, and Arcudi will end up at second base. So a fielder's choice. And an E6. That allows Arcudi to get to second base, and that is the 5th Stoughton error. Gonsalves erased from the equation on the forced play at second. So Arcudi, the lone runner at second base, as Aiden Wild takes his 3rd at bat, batting 1 for 2. And he dribbles one down the third base line, foul. The cloud cover thickening overhead. Gets any darker, they might have to think about turning the lights on here at Fino. But that will bring an end now to this bottom half of the 3rd inning. The 2nd time Aiden Wild has gone down on strikes today. So neither side able to score a run in the 3rd inning. Will now head on to the 4th. It's still a 7-6 lead for the Scarlet Hawks over Stoughton on coverage of Milford High School baseball on Milford TV. The pitchers finally settling things down just a little bit in that 3rd inning. Neither team scoring a run in the 3rd. Nate Irwin back on the mound for the top of the 4th, facing batters 9, 1, and 2. And Irwin deals in a called strike 1. Nate looking to build off of a nice 1-2-3 top of the 3rd. His 0-1 pitch, and that misses maybe a little bit high. Irwin continuing to waste no time in between pitches. That ball swung on and missed. back into the windup, ready with the 1-2 pitch. And it's trickled over towards the third base dugout foul. We mentioned in that last half inning, if it gets any darker, they'll have to turn the lights on here at Fino. They will definitely be turning the lights on at Fino for Milford's next home game on Friday, their senior night game against Hopedale, which will be played under the lights at 7 p.m. As this ball is floated out to shallow center field, Anthony Arcudi darts out into that shallow center field grass to make the catch. And the first batter retired here in the fourth inning. We saw Anthony make a spectacular catch last week against Mansfield, racing out into shallow center, making a lunging grab. As now first pitch swinging, Ruben Gonzalez delivers one out into center. This one will drop for a base hit. It's the 8th hit of the game for Stoughton. It breaks up a string of 5 consecutive batters retired by Irwin. Ruben Gonzalez now 2 for 3 out of that top spot in the lineup. Now we'll see the third at bat for Pat Haggerty. First a pickoff check at first, a low throw, but Masick holds on to it. Haggerty, the man at the plate, he singled in the first inning, drove in a run on a ground out in the second. And now offering at that with a bunt attempt was Haggerty. One strike on the batter. Gonzalez with a lead at first, and that pitch inside. Now another check over at first. Gonzalez able to get back standing. Left-handed batter, Pat Haggerty digging back in. Now takes an off-speed pitch that misses up and away. And now this ball popped up foul, a long run. Can anyone get there? A diving attempt for Cody as he traveled over towards the warning track in front of the third base dugout, but that ball just did not have enough hang time. You had the pitcher Irwin, the catcher Wild, along with the third baseman Alex Cody, all racing after that foul pop-up, but it lands harmless. And the at-bat will continue for Haggerty. And now this is a tapper right back into the glove of Irwin. He gets the out at second. They hustle the throw to first, but it pulls Masick just off the bag, and Haggerty will reach. It was an excellent play by Irwin, fielding that ball right at his shoe tops, and then sent a perfect throw to second base that led Tamani right across the bag. But Zach's throw tailed just towards the right field side of first base, and it pulled the foot of Alex Masick off the bag. And now a pitch in the dirt to Ryan Sullivan that allows Haggerty to end up at second base. So once again, Stoughton with a runner in scoring position with 2 outs now. Sullivan at the plate. He's ahead in the count 2-0. Sullivan has done an excellent job so far in relief, 2 1/3 innings of scoreless relief. And he is way ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Back to the set, the 3-0 pitch. Sullivan was taking all the way. He takes a called strike. Now a 3-1 pitch, and this ball sent in the air, in foul ground. Traveling out into right field is Alex Masick in foul territory to make the catch for the out that ends the inning. So a couple of times in the frame, Stoughton able to get a runner to second base, but they don't score. And we head to the bottom half of the fourth inning. It is still Milford 7 and Stoughton 6 here on Milford TV. We are now into the bottom half of the fourth inning, where it will be Zach Tamani, Alex Cody, and Alex Masick due up against Ryan Sullivan, as we mentioned, in the top half of the inning when he came to the plate. Sullivan working on 2 1/3 innings of scoreless relief. He's allowed just 1 Milford hit. Actually, 2 hits allowed for Sullivan. He allowed a hit to the first batter he faced coming into the game in the first inning. He allowed a single to Ryan Gonsalves last inning, so a pair of hits in the relief appearance for Sullivan. Also a pair of walks, but an impressive strikeout total, 5 strikeouts. Tamani takes a pitch low. Zach has reached base both times he's come to the plate today, a single in the first inning and an RBI. A walk in the second. And now drives the ball out to center field. It sends Haggerty towards the right center field gap. But Pat Haggerty able to make the catch. One out in the inning now for Alex Cody. He has walked and struck out. He's also scored a run today. Milford doing all of their damage so far in the first inning. Responding to a 3-run rally for Stoughton in the top of the first. Milford scoring 7 times in the bottom half of the first inning. They've had some runners on base in the inning since, but they have not scored. And just a 1-run lead for Milford at 7-6. Pitch low and in to Cody. Feels like just the presence of Blake Hill in uniform in the dugout today has given this Milford offense a boost. Blake not playing in the game, but in uniform for the first time, at least here at home this season. We wait to see if he will make a return to the field at some point this season. In the meantime, Alex Cody working a walk. And that will bring up Alex Masick. He's working on a good day at the plate. A single, a walk, a run batted in here, though he swings to the first pitch and pops it up right where the infield dirt meets the outfield grass at shortstop. Ruben Gonzalez makes the catch. Two outs now in the inning. And Tyler Renault looking to get into the offensive action. He has struck out twice so far. A big cut at the first pitch of the at-bat for strike one. Tyler ready to see the 0-1 pitch, and it's high. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, and a runner at first base for Milford in the bottom of the fourth. Ryan Sullivan to the set, the runner goes. The pitch is a breaking ball too far inside, and the throw down from Gibb is not in time. A stolen base for Alex Cody. It puts a man in scoring position now. It's the 3rd stolen base of the season for Cody, as Renault now is ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. It's the 34th stolen base of the season for a Milford team that loves to take advantage of their speed on the bases. Renault now taking a borderline pitch that just grazes the bottom of the strike zone, says the home plate umpire. That runs the count full. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's a tapper down the third base side, but a foul ball. Coach Pellegrini taking care of that loose ball himself. A tough at bat being put on here by Tyler Renault. Trying to drive that man in from second base. Here comes another 3-2 pitch. And this is a liner out to shallow left field. It's down for a hit. They'll wave the runner to the plate. Here comes the throw from left field. It bounces off the chest protector of Gibb. It rolls all the way to the edge of the backstop. And now this ball gets thrown wildly to third base. Renault will end up holding there. And so that will go. Should go as an RBI double for Renault. He takes third base on the throw to the plate. Cody comes in to score, and Milford able to extend the lead now to 8-6. So Renault coming through with a 2-out hit and ends up at third base now for Cambrola. Kevin jumps ahead in the count, 1-0. A walk and a flyout has been the day so far for the number 8 hitter. Up now 2 balls and no strikes. Now this ball hit on the ground to shortstop, scooped up by Gonzalez. His throw to first base gets there in time for the final out of the inning. But Tyler Renault drives in a 2-out run to increase the Milford lead to 8-6 over Stoughton. We've now played 4 full from Fino, and 8-6 the score here on Milford TV. Fifth inning getting underway at Fino Field. Nate Irwin about to battle the cleanup hitter Jack Conley. Conley with 2 runs batted in on the day. Batting 1 for 2 with a double. Fouls that ball away. A tough start to this game for Nate Irwin, but he has improved as the innings have gone on. And gets a foul tip into the mitt of Aiden Wild. And that brings the count to 1-2. Conley, Evan Gibb, and Luke Johnson due up in the inning, and a wave and a miss. And Conley down on strikes. The 4th strikeout for Nate Irwin. He's retired the leadoff batter now in each of the last 3 innings. Now dealing with the catcher, Evan Gibb. Gibb doubled to drive in a run as part of the 3-run rally for Stoughton in the first. Then struck out swinging to end the 2nd inning. Now that pitch misses down and away. So in this season series between Stoughton and Milford, as that pitch misses for ball 4, a walk to Gibb. Stoughton ended up scoring 18 unanswered runs before Milford finally was able to generate some offense of their own. Stoughton winning the first game of the series 15-0 in mercy rule fashion. But the Milford bats responding with a 7 spot in the first. Here's a high bouncer to third base, could be 2. The throw to second out there. The relay from Arcudi. And the runner safe at first base. That ball looked like it bounced out of the glove of Masick there as it one-hopped first. So Johnson reaches on a fielder's choice. Gibb forced out at second. Two outs and a runner at first base for Josh Hutchinson. A quick pickoff check over at first. The runner able to get back. Irwin trying to bring a quick end to this fifth inning. And Hutchinson looks at a called strike one. This has been a game to forget so far for Justin Hutchinson. Lasting just 2/3 of an inning on the mound, allowing 7 runs on 6 hits. And at the plate so far 0 for 2 with a ground out and a pop-up. And now looks at a called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs in the inning. Johnson leads off of first, where he's held on by Masick. The pitch, and a slow grounder. It's grabbed on the backhand by Nate Irwin, who continues to field his position very well this afternoon. He fires to first base to get the out that ends the inning. Another scoreless inning in the books for Nate Irwin. And on to the bottom of the 5th inning we go. It is Milford 8 and Stoughton 6 on this coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Ryan Sullivan's pitching stats coming into today's game. In 23 innings pitched, he had allowed 11 walks and 11 strikeouts, came in with a 2.13 ERA. He's now entering his 4th full inning of relief, pitching a lot more than he thought coming into the day. He's allowed a run on 3 hits now with 3 walks and 5 strikeouts. Allowed his first run since coming into the game on that 2-out double for Renault last inning. Mobilia looking to bunt on the first pitch of the frame and fouls it away. Mobilia 1 for 2 with that 3-run double in the first and a strikeout in the third. Battling now with a count of a ball and a strike. Now pops this pitch up foul down the left field line. Can anyone get to it? No, it's behind the bleachers and out of play. One ball and 2 strikes on Mobilia. Here's the pitch, and just off the end of the bat, Mobilia able to get a piece. The breeze lighter here at Fino right now, but still blowing out towards left center as Mobilia takes a pitch. On the outside part of the plate, it goes as a called strike 3, maybe a bit of a generous call. Mobilia did not like it. Strikes out now for the 2nd time this afternoon. So the first out is recorded in the bottom of the 5th, and now here is the 4th at bat for leadoff hitter Ryan Gonsalves. Gonsalves now shoots this pitch foul. He has had a quick bat today, 3 for 3, with a run batted in and a run scored. Gonsalves collecting 2 hits in the first inning alone. And now a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Still plenty of chatter coming out of the Milford dugout. They were roaring during that big first inning rally. It at times has been A quiet dugout over there at third base. And that pitch taken for a ball, a close one. The set and the pitch by Sullivan, and it's bounced to third in fair ground. It's grabbed by Johnson. The throw to first and a nice stretch by Connolly to get the out. Ball took a high hop at third base, but Johnson was able to stay with it. A 5-3 ground out, 2 up and 2 down in the fifth. Arcudi now looking to extend the inning. Anthony working on a 1-for-3 day. That hit coming in his second at bat in the first inning. Now waves and misses at a pitch. Now a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Milford has not won consecutive games since they saw their 4-game winning streak come to an end. Winning 4 straight from April 12th to April 20th. Since then, it's been win 1, lose 1. But trying to string together their second straight victory, building off of their win at Stoughton in their last game back on May 4th. And that ball called a strike, and you can hear the uproar from Coach Pellegrini out of the third base dugout, not happy with the call. The next one on the way, and it's tapped foul to the backstop. Should Arcudi reach, it would give Aiden Wild a chance. Sullivan ready, here's his pitch, and it's hit again towards third. Johnson makes the play and makes a good throw for the out that ends the inning, and for the first time this afternoon, Milford's offense goes 1-2-3. Completes now 5 innings of play from Fino Field here in Milford, where the Scarlet Hawks hold an 8-6 lead over the Stoughton Black Knights, on coverage of Milford High School athletics on Milford TV. 8 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error for the Milford Scarlet Hawks. 6 runs, 8 hits, and 5 errors for the Stoughton Black Knights. As we now begin the top half of the 6th inning, which will bring batters 8, 9, and 1 to the plate for the visitors. Nick Hardy leads it off. And the first pitch from Irwin of the inning is low for ball 1. And now a timeout granted at the plate. Nate Irwin so far in 5 innings pitched, allowing 6 runs on 8 hits. He's walked 2 and struck out 4. Allowed 3 runs in the first inning and 3 runs in the second inning. But since those first 2 innings, he's allowed just 1 hit. The next one on the way to Hardy, and that's a wave and a miss. And now getting on top of that pitch and tomahawking it out into shallow left field. Nick Hardy able to get on with a leadoff single. That's the second hit for Hardy, now 2 for 3. The first time since the second inning, Stoughton's been able to get the leadoff runner on. Matt Gallagher now at the plate, shows bunt, taps it out in front of the plate. It's fielded by the pitcher, Irwin, who will fire to Arcudi covering the first base bag. So that out officially goes 1-4. But credit Gallagher with a sacrifice bunt to push Hardy into scoring position and get back to the top of the lineup for Ruben Gonzalez, who swings at the first pitch, pops it up into shallow right field. Arcudi losing the hat, but making the catch. And very quickly now, there are 2 outs. Arcudi gets such a good read on these fly balls. Gives him a chance to show really good range to make some terrific catches. 2 outs in the inning now for Pat Haggerty. Takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Haggerty reached on a fielder's choices last time up. Now flies a pitch out to left field. Cambrola looks to have it under control. He makes the catch for the out. That brings an end to the top half of the 6th inning. So Stoughton able to get a leadoff base hit, but Irwin able to quickly retire the side from there. And Irwin getting deep into this game and really providing some quality pitching after a couple of rough innings to start the outing. We'll head now to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Still an 8-6 lead for the Scarlet Hawks here on Milford TV. The heart of the order due up for the Scarlet Hawks in the bottom of the 6th inning as they look to grab a couple of insurance runs. Aiden Wild to lead it off. More work for Ryan Sullivan. He's thrown 4 1/3 innings of relief. Out to start this bottom of the 6th, then gets a first pitch strike as Wild fouls that ball away. Aiden singled and scored in the 1st inning in his first at bat of the 1st inning, then struck out to conclude the inning on a borderline pitch, then struck out again in the 3rd. Gets into this pitch and drives it deep out to center field. That's going to get over the head of Haggerty, deep in center. Extra bases for Wild as he will cruise into second base with a leadoff double. That high fly ball drawing some oohs and ahs out of the 3rd base dugout. Aiden Wild flexing his muscles with a leadoff 2-base hit. And now here's Tamani. Tamani takes the first pitch high. Tamani's been on base twice, once via a single, once via a walk. He's also flown out. And up with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Tamani drove in a run with the single that came back in the 1st. Now 2 balls and a strike. We have not seen any activity loosening for Stoughton throughout the day. Content to continue to let Sullivan work. And a late strike call issued by the home plate umpire. He took a good couple of seconds to contemplate that one and then put up the strike call. Evens the count at 2. And now Tamani spoils that pitch foul. The top 2 teams in the Davenport division going at it in a lengthy one here at Fino Field. The first place Knights, the second place Hawks. Milford with the lead. Now Tamani dribbles one over towards 3rd. They bluff the throw to second base. Now the throw to 1st is offline and Tamani is safe. So Luke Johnson, in what could only be explained as a move geared towards keeping Wild close to the second base bag, bluffed a throw in that direction, then threw off balance to 1st. The throw pulled Jack Connolly off the bag, so Johnson maybe trying to get a little too cute with that play on the left side of the infield. And the result is 2 on and nobody out for the Scarlet Hawks. now Cody dropping a bunt down in front of the pitcher's mound. They fire to third base, and a good throw, good hard throw from Sullivan. They're able to cut down the lead runner. So Wild out, Tamani safe at second, and Cody safe at first on the fielder's choice. A little bit of a surprising decision out of Coach Pellegrini to bunt with Alex Cody, who has, at least batting average-wise, been the second best hitter in this Milford lineup. Now Alex Masick sends a hard ground ball to second base. They get the out at second, and the relay to first turns into an inning-ending 4 to 6 to 3 double play. So the bunt definitely does not work out in Milford's favor. Despite getting their first 2 runners on in the inning, they failed to score, so Milford will carry just a 2-run lead into the top half of the 7th inning. Nate Irwin will return to the mound, looking to finish off the complete game effort. We'll see if he can get it done when we come back next here on Milford TV. Nate Irwin looking to finish off what he started in this one on the mound for the 7th inning. It will be a tall order as he faces batters 3, 4, and 5. The check on the swing down to the infield umpire, who says he did go around Ryan Sullivan, who has pitched so well in relief for the Stoughton Black Knights, allowing just 1 run after entering into the game in the first inning, after Milford had exploded for 7 runs. Now a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Sullivan started the game as the right fielder, but has been the pitcher through the majority of this one now, waving swing and a miss. He falls behind 1 and 2. A 1-for-3 day. He reached on a fielder's choice, stole a base and scored in the first, drove in a run with a single in the second, and then popped out in the 4th inning. Here's a slow roller. This is going to be a tricky play as Masick fields. He uses the pitcher to cover the first base bag, and they get the out. It was going to be a bang-bang play with Irwin breaking towards first to cover. Masick traveling far to his right to field the ground ball. But Milford just able to get the out in time. It goes 3 to 1. And a 1-ball, no strike count now on Jack Connolly. Batting with the bases empty and 1 down. Now sends a fly ball foul to the left and out of play. Connolly has 2 RBIs in the game. He also struck out his last time up. And now shoots a hard ground ball right up the middle for a base hit. So Connolly with his 2nd hit. And Stoughton will bring the tying run to the plate now here in the 7th inning in the person of Evan Gibb. Gibb has doubled, walked, and struck out today. And he immediately calls a timeout before he sees a pitch. A long pause for Irwin on the mound, now slowing up the pace with the runner at first. He has worked with incredible swiftness when the bases are empty. Now gets a fly ball out into right field in foul territory. Masick stays with it, and Alex makes the catch. And Milford now 1 out away from securing a victory. Connolly remains at first base, and now the last hope for the Black Knights rests in their 3rd baseman, Luke Johnson. Drove in a run with a double in the 1st inning, and since then has struck out and reached on a fielder's choice. The pitch from Irwin is a little bit inside. Connolly works out to a lead at first base, not a big one. Here's the pitch, and that one a called strike. Irwin able to pull it a little bit more towards the corner, gets the call from the umpire, and evens the count at a ball and a strike. The next one on the way, and it's blown outside. And now ball 3 issued on a pitch that was very close. Coach Pellegrini wanted the call. It's a 3-ball, 1-strike count now. Stoughton with a pinch hitter waiting in the on-deck circle. It is Michael Batty who would come to the plate next, should the game extend to another batter. Here's the 3-1, and this is looped out into center field. A long run for Gonsalves, but he keeps it just off the turf, makes the catch for the out. That ends the game. Gonsalves able to track that ball in and makes the catch, and the Scarlet Hawks are able to defeat the Stoughton Black Knights by a final score of 8-6. That ball looked like trouble off the bat of Johnson, but a nice grab made by the athletic center fielder Ryan Gonsalves, and what a hard-fought victory here for Milford today. It did not look like it was going to be a good day with how it started. 3 runs in the top of the first inning for Stoughton, but Milford blasting 7 runs in the bottom half of the first inning. They end up scoring 8 in all, and that was enough to earn the 8-6 victory. And also a tip of the cap to Nate Irwin, who rebounded after those tough early innings and gave Milford a quality start in the end. So the Scarlet Hawks, with the victory, will now jump to 8-5 overall on the season, 7-5 now within league play. So inching closer to Stoughton, who will remain in the top spot. Suffering the loss today, they drop to 9-4. So Milford closes to within 2 victories of clinching a playoff spot. They will be next at home this Friday, May 12th, with their senior night game under the lights here at Fino Field against Hopedale. We will have that game covered for you. So we'll be back at Fino Field on Friday. Until then, a big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand for the game today, our director, John Giacomuzzi, and our camera operator, Rob O'Keefe. And I am Tim Coet. Your final score, one final time. The Scarlet Hawks defeat the Stoughton Black Knights by a score of 8-6. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.